Die of Death. For the uninitiated, especially like myself, this game at its surface is basically Forsaken without the Forsaken or the mentally deranged fans. I hope. Anyway, Die of Death. It's an asym horror game, you're either the survivor or killer, pretty simple. And honestly, it's a fun game. Is it a game I can make a 10-minute voiceover for? Not really, so I may as well break it down while throwing a few live clips in there. So, Die of Death. You're either a survivor or killer. Survivors are rather interesting in this game. Upon spawning in, you are given 3 decks. These decks contain 2 abilities. The abilities are evidently random. You can either get given something offensive, defensive, or helpful. How you use these abilities is frankly up to you, but I'd highly advise not throwing them out with no plan. Buddy, I think you might have eaten a little bit more. This guy's screwed, he's not gonna be able to outrun him. Now, funnily enough, you can actually kill the killer in this game, but the likelihood of this happening is basically impossible. Don't let that stop you from trying though. Now frankly, these kinds of games tend to boil down to a lot of luck and some skill. If you're good at juking killers or spacing, then you shouldn't have much of a problem, but some killers can end up circumventing this in the worst ways possible. To add on to the whole juking aspect, this game has a small selection of maps that you'll learn rather quickly, and even use to some degree of success. I'm sure the background footage will have all these maps on display and you can probably make out what your main routes will be during a chase. The perks of there being such a small selection of maps is that it allows you to plan ahead on what route you want to take whilst being chased. The drawback to this is that the very killer you are trying to escape can use this to their advantage, so it's up to you on how you adapt and outplay them, unless there's literally no counterplay to it. But let's move on to killers. I won't be going over the killers in depth, more so just the generalization of the killers. Each killer has an M1 to attack with, and 3 abilities to aid them in their damage, chase, or blockade against the survivors. Likewise to the survivors, you will be trying to juke them out and force them into either wasting their stamina, whiffing attacks, or just straight up brute forcing them, whichever works best for you. Each killer plays more or less the same, but it's their abilities that separate them. Pursuer is primarily meant to just, well, pursue. Badware is a prep time type killer that is pretty bad without any computers, but a straight up demon with just a few up. Artful is a trapper and works best when blocking generic routes the survivor can take to help them secure easy kills. Hark is a low health killer that requires a mode charge to really start inflicting chaos, and Killdroid is... he exists. I won't diss the people that use him, just know I would never put myself through this level of suffering. Me personally, I like using Badware because it's pretty fun going on a rampage with his computers. Dude, it's over. You have 5 seconds. This in turn, however, is also a problem with the game's design. Now in most asym games, and hell, even Left 4 Dead, I know that's an odd game to throw in, these types of games tend to be very survivor biased. The catch being, it's only survivor biased if the survivors are competent, which most of the time they won't be if you're only playing public servers. Die of Death, however, clashes heavily against survivor and killer bias. Some killers are straight up overpowered, where no amount of survivor skill can aid you in your, well, survival. Whereas on the other hand, the survivor team can get a whole bunch of good decks to make catching them a nightmare. So ultimately, the bias depends on RNG and what the killer is. But is this better than one team bias? Frankly, I wager it is so, but if you disagree, feel free to comment. I'm genuinely interested in other takes. The reason I believe RNG dependent bias is a tad bit better than one team bias is because it keeps the game fun for majority of the people playing at the end of the day. It's not fun to lose, anyone can agree with that, but winning will always come with the expense of someone's failure, and I'm honestly okay with that. If I die, then I die. If I win, then I win. Even the developers, or developer, acknowledge that. So what better way to acknowledge the fact that this game doesn't take itself too seriously? Special rounds. Special rounds help break up the monotony of the same run and chase gameplay with a modifier to, I guess, sauce it up. One round could have 2 killers, one round could have all cowboys, one could have the numbers completely flipped, or evil scary. What on earth is that? These special rounds don't necessarily do much, but I always welcome them because you never know what it'll be. And once it ticks over, best pray that if you're a survivor, your team knows what they're doing. Anyway, random montage, go. You have less stamina than me, buddy, you can't outrun me forever. I rammed into him. Honestly, so much people are going Pursuer. I don't even think I need to use Pursuer. It's like, at this point you know what he does. Me and this guy got the right idea. There's 2 bonus pads on top of each other, so we just move at like lightning speed. Yeah, 2 bonus pads completely negates that. Like, we're off, we're gone. He can't keep up. It just bypasses. He's cornered himself. There's a wall there. He's eventually gonna die from water. And Artful has more stamina. You know, how much health does he have? He's definitely low. Oh, he's definitely low. Go, chase him! If he keeps running into the water, he'll die. No way this guy actually loses. No way. You actually just let him get away with that. No way, they actually let him get away with that. He was definitely low health too. Leave. There's someone behind him. Damn it. Also, they're skins, because skins are nice. And something I never really gave much thought, but remembered while making this video, some of this game's tracks are genuinely pretty good, and hell, the people that play this game watching this video will probably recognize what each track is. The game's entire soundtrack are made by people, which really adds to the game, and while yes, that's not a Herculean task, I mean look at something like Block Tales, I'll always give credit to people making music for games on Roblox. These guys deserve the credit where it's due, and I also like music that sets the scene, so yeah, never mind. If you're skeptical about asym horror games, or just want to avoid a community filled with sociopaths, give Die of Death a try. That's coming from someone who never once touched an asym horror game until this one, and I don't regret it. Not sure if this is a game I can necessarily make videos on, as gameplay type videos aren't my thing anymore, but if this video does better than I expected, or y'all are genuinely interested in it, then leave a comment or comment something funny, subscribe, and yeah.